Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy that called Alexander Romanov defeating Chase Sherman. So you may want to check this out. I'm here to talk about TJ Dillashaw versus Aljamain Sterling. This is the co-main event of UFC 280, a fight I'm very much looking forward to. Aljamain is the champion, Long Island guy, and he is the champion. That was my way of saying I'm a Long Island guy, so you don't want to mess with me because I fight just as well as Sterling. I don't know what that was. But anyway, Sterling is the champ after defeating Jan. And I've always thought he was underrated. Can't call him that anymore. He's the champion. TJ Dillashaw, he's the former champion, a little older. I think he's 3 years older, 36. Aljo might be 32, but I think he's 33. And which was a surprise to me. I thought Aljo was just a little younger. I feel like, whatever. I forget how old he is. But still, TJ Dillashaw is the more shop-worn fighter, certainly. He's had a lot of mileage on him. Aljo's got a deep career already, too. But TJ's been fighting for a lot longer at a high level. And he has been through a lot, too. I mean, you know, he was out with suspension in his prime years, the end of what would be considered his prime, I'd say, 30, you know, the early to mid-30s, and now he's mid to late 30s. Not that he's, you know, completely shop-worn, but that's definitely on his side. If someone's going to fade, it's going to be TJ Dillashaw. Aljo, I would say, is smack dab in the middle of his prime. And he's like Charles Oliveira, a lot more than just a grappler now. And he is a solid striker, not just what he was when he came into the UFC. He was a good athlete that threw great kicks and had a good kicking game with no punches. Now he's a really good striker. It's just he's going up against TJ Dillashaw, who is a very good striker. I do think TJ is better. I'm not sure who's more fragile between the two, to be honest, or even who hits harder, because Aljo can hit hard. But TJ Dillashaw, I think, would tag Aljo more than Aljo would tag TJ in a kickboxing fight. TJ Dillashaw has great movement, darts in and out. You know, he's always creating angles, cutting angles, whatever the fuck it is. You know, moving around great. I'll always go back to that first Cody Garbrandt loss when he stepped into the side and caught Cody with a lead right hook. But it was perfect. And I think that's what happened. Maybe it was a left hand. But I know he cut a nice angle. And that's TJ. He's always moving around, just creating angles for himself. And when he gets off, he does have vicious striking. Very good hands, very good speed, and power, too. You know, not that he's Mr. One-Punch Knockout, but he's got the power. He's put enough guys out. Of course, half of them being Renan Barão. But, no, we've seen TJ throw down, and, you know, Cody Garbrandt being the other half. But TJ Dillashaw is one of the more dangerous strikers in the division, and I do think he could give Aljamain Sterling hell. Aljamain Sterling to win this fight, at least I have it in my head, despite the evolution of his striking, he's got to get a fucking takedown. He's got to get TJ down. I do think he can. I think Aljo can get just about anybody down. I mean, the way he got Petr Yan down was, you know, that's exactly what he needs to do to TJ, and he can do it. Yan is one of those guys like TJ where it's tough to imagine it happening, but I do believe Aljamain Sterling's the guy to get it done. And Aljo, look, on the ground, he is very goddamn good. Not just at winning fights, but winning rounds. He's a guy that takes that back, and he has suffocating control. I do think he could take TJ down, and suddenly it'll occur to everybody that he's the bigger guy. Although, you know, who knows what kind of shape TJ's coming into the fight in. But anyway, Aljamain Sterling, TJ, by the way, does look pretty big. He does, you know, he looks fucking ripped anyway. I saw a picture of him recently. But Aljamain Sterling, I think, is the bigger, stronger guy on the ground. And I do think if TJ got Aljamain down, Aljo's going to be up relatively soon. But if Aljo gets TJ down, he wins the round. That's how I see that happening. And on top of winning the round, Aljamain Sterling is very dangerous, too. He's altogether one of maybe the best submission artists in the division. He's absolutely up there. And one thing that I think is being overlooked, certainly by the odds makers, is Aljamain Sterling by KO TKO. And by that I mean TKO. That's absolutely being overlooked. You know, Aljamain Sterling is fighting a guy who hasn't been submitted, TJ Dillashaw. And if he gets the back mount, let's say, and he flattens TJ out, I'd say it's more likely that Aljamain Sterling gets a TKO finish than he does a rear naked choke. That's just how I see that fight playing out, you know, in that spot. So bet on Aljamain Sterling to win via knockout if you have something to sprinkle on that. I know it's not something you can really count on and bet your life on, but if you have something to sprinkle, those odds are way off. 20-1 at least for him to win in any round, you know, via TKO. And Aljamain Sterling absolutely has the grappling to give himself that possibility. So I don't think that will happen, though. I do think this is going to go to a decision. I do think it's going to be close, and I do think it's going to go to Aljamain Sterling. Like I said, I think TJ's better on the feet, you know, even though Aljamain might be able to hurt him more easily because he might hit harder and he might be in better shape. You know, we've seen each of them knocked out a few times. Aljamain was knocked dead against Marlon Moraes, but TJ's been knocked out by Henry Cejudo and John Dodson. So it could happen here. Generally, I do lean towards the older fighter being knocked out, especially the guy with the long layoff and all the different, you know, horse shit. So I'm more concerned with TJ's durability, but I do think he has better striking. But as for the decision, it's going to come down to who wins the wrestling battle, or, you know, how many takedowns Aljamain can secure, really. Because, again, TJ, I think Aljamain will get up, but that doesn't mean TJ won't make anything of the takedowns. I thought, or even the body control, I should say, like he did against Corey Sandhagen. He was beating him up with sharp knees to the thighs, which, you know, if you're a judge and you're actually looking at it intently, it's a beating. You know, it may not look like it, but I think, you know, TJ can find success against Aljo there, but it will be more riding as opposed to Aljamain, who's going to be trying to throw in legs and make TJ submit or pound him out eventually. If not, suck the life out of him and control around with a body triangle. So altogether, I am inclined to favor Aljamain Sterling. Also, because of that breakdown, I forgot to mention, especially in a 5-round fight, it's worth mentioning, Aljamain Sterling, I think, is more likely to win 10-8 rounds. I just think he's more likely to win a 10-8 round. TJ's got to knock Aljo down once, if not twice, knock him around to win that. Aljamain Sterling's got to either do that or do what he does best, which is secure the body triangle. So, and again, going back to the Jan fight, the rematch, I think he got 1-10-8 out of rounds 2 and 3. It's not just a lock that you get a, no pun intended, that you get a 10-8 round with a body lock, a body triangle. But it definitely increases the chances. Aljamain Sterling has that game, and for a fight that you expect to go to a decision, that is a factor. All right, so my bets for the fights. I bet on Aljamain Sterling's money line, and I bet on Aljamain Sterling via decision. I have sprinkled something on TJ via decision at plus 300, just to hedge against Aljo by decision at plus 150. And, of course, I only bet on Aljamain because he's the guy I predict to win, and that money line is what can be attached to different parlays. So him at minus 175 or whatever is what I've done to just beef up some parlays. But anyway, let's hope it's a good fight. I'm kind of hoping Aljamain Sterling wins, but that I don't want to really emphasize that in this video because I tried to be unbiased in my breakdown. But I'm leaning towards Aljo, and hopefully it's a good one. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit. Thank you.